seen through glass. Welcome to Redmond near Seattle. This is Exotics at Redmond's Town Centre. Now, Seattle is one of those places that I got a ton of emails about. It seems like there is a huge car culture here, and one of the events that people sort of celebrate or champion is Exotics at Redmond Town Centre. So whilst I woke up this morning in Portland, 3 hours south of here, I got up at 6 a.m. and thought, screw it, let's go to Exotics. So yes, here I am in a car park, taking in everything that's lurking around. After this, we've got a pretty full-on day because we're headed over to a sort of luxury car storage place. I'm doing a podcast with some local guys. Then I might even be jumping in quite a rare and special car. But let's see how the day pans out. I think for now, I'm just going to take in the sights, the sounds, and the scenes of Exotics at Redmond Town Centre. Well, look at this. We have got the brand new McLaren GT. It is my first time really getting up close to one of these. I obviously missed Geneva early in the year when it was sort of unveiled. It's this sort of like weird hybrid between a 720S and 570 GT, and I don't really know what else. It's a McLaren that I don't quite get. It's all about being able to fit golf clubs in the back. That was like their whole marketing launch thing was, look, you can put golf clubs in here. Was anyone thinking, oh, I really wish I could get golf clubs in my McLaren? Probably not. I have to say though, it is good looking. I like this interior spec quite a lot, white on white, and it does have this huge sort of rear luggage canopy / area, so sure, people are going to buy it. I am not so convinced, but I will say it looks good. I just don't really understand the purpose of it. I don't really know how to describe this place, but fundamentally it's a sort of car storage unit, but I think you can see already it's so much more than that. This is Drivers Club, and I've just finished recording a podcast with the Rain City Supercars guys. I don't think it's gone out yet, so I'll put a link to the podcast in general because you should check out all their other episodes, but also keep an eye out for mine. We had a really interesting chat about my desire to hug a bear during the US leg of Drive the World. But we have now come downstairs to the sort of Drivers Club main showroom. It's not a showroom because it's car storage. I don't know how to explain it. It's just incredible. I need to walk around and show you some of the ridiculous cars they have lurking around in here. Obviously all privately owned, so some of them will be a little bit blurred, number plates might be hidden and things like that, but some of them I am allowed to show you. I'm also going to grab Nick and Dan from the Rain City Supercars podcast to sort of talk through some of their favourite cars here, because they are members and they know some of these cars a little bit better than I do because I'm seeing them for the first time. But anyway, yes, let's get into it. Let's dive into it. Let me show you some of the madness lying behind me. This is a cool looking Mustang no matter what. It's a Shelby Cobra Mustang, but even cooler, it was owned by fellow egghead Bruce Willis. I mean, he doesn't own it anymore, but he used to, and I think it's amazing. Firstly, it's green with tan, so win, but there's just all the details around it, I think, to make it look absolutely amazing. You all know about my new sort of obsession, or no one knows, not an obsession because I drove it and realised it was crap, but the 348. This is a 348 challenge. Now, there was also a 348 Competizione, which had certain elements from the F40, but this is the challenge. So basically, a road-going version of the 348 challenge car. Get these lovely white wheels and still carbon fibre bucket-esque seats, which isn't really showing up at the moment because it's super reflect you in that window. But anyway, super cool, super rare car, and actually in the grand scheme of things probably pretty decent to drive, and it looks amazing. I totally glossed over it earlier. I was like, oh, it's a 348, but no, this thing is pretty damn special, and as I say, crazy rare. one thing I just have to touch on quickly is this 997 GT3 RS, 997.2. I've become obsessed with the 0.2 997 cars recently, and this RS with the simple livery, I mean, it's basically no decals, no big numbers on the side, no sort of checkered flag decals, white and yellow, really clean car, and I just think it looks unreal. Inside we've got the leather race bucket seats with the harnesses, yellow seat belts, sort of proper racing steering wheel. I think this thing is amazing. And actually, just the other side, if I spin around real quick, we have a relatively similar car. This is a fully red 997.2 GT3 RS with the racing BBS wheels. Looks amazing again, no decals. And then I have to talk about this, which is the Luftgekühlt 911 Safari, an iconic car which was auctioned off for charity, I believe, created by the guys Luft Auto, who were responsible for the big Porsche meet Luftgekühlt. Obviously, I know I filmed Phil's Safari relatively recently, so I don't want to focus on this too much, but I love it. Again, simplicity of the colour scheme, the lines, the fact it's got a kind of spadey pick up on the roof rack, and then the actual gaze, the sort of, protection across the light. Oh, this thing is amazing. Anyway, let's find some cars that aren't Porsches. It's a Formula One car in America. This is not something I was expecting to see. Unfortunately, I think despite, the Austin Grand Prix and Lewis Hamilton's popularity, Formula One's still not that big a deal in this part of the world, but for some reason, right here is a 2013 Ferrari Formula One car, driven, I think, by Fernando Alonso in the Australian Grand Prix, but we're going to check that little plaque in 2 seconds. There is actually a reason why it's here. It's because it was sort of gifted to the local Ferrari dealership, but they didn't have space to display it anymore, so it's ended up here in storage. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually have an engine in it, so it's not running, but what it does have, quite surprisingly, is the steering wheel. If you ever see a Formula One car, display car, or even sometimes the running cars, it's very rare that they have the real steering wheel inside, because this is one of the most valuable components of a car. Steering wheels cost around £60,000 for an F1 car because of all the sort of computer mechanics and bits, not mechanics, but computer gizmos and switches and all the things going on inside that steering wheel. It's really the brains of the car, and it's also very easy to remove. So often they're sort of hidden, but this car has it. Just the details of these things. Every time I get the chance to get up close to a Formula One car, I am blown away. And this is really, this is close, ladies and gentlemen. This is close. In fact, I think I probably shouldn't touch it, but I touched it. But yeah, awesome to see. I've come upstairs to, I guess, the Drivers Club Lounge. Is that what you call it?
Lounge.
Members Lounge. And I've been joined by Dan and Nick from the Rain City Supercars podcast, which we just finished recording, literally over there. You can still see their screen.
It's like we were just there.
It was, we were.
Yeah.
Now, before I continue nerding on stuff downstairs, I thought we'd take a second to firstly talk about a little bit about what you guys do, but also you are members of this place, yes. So I feel like you're better off explaining, because I'm just there going like, without actually sort of knowing exactly what I'm looking at, what this setup is. So kick things off quickly, Rain City, how did that come about? What actually is it, and why does it happen here?
Rain City Supercars started from Dan and I. We've been friends for a long time. There's a long story to it, but literally, I got Dan as a birthday present. Somebody brought Dan to my birthday.
I showed him his birthday. Didn't know it was his birthday.
Also, you can't return him, so there's that. And Rain City Supercars started by Dan and I kind of doing lunches after exotics, and people were like, you guys are talking, and you're talking to your friends, and you should really record this. And I've always joked and said it. I'm not a huge podcast person, So Dan and I decided we were going to try it in my kitchen, and we bought a cheap mic. Well, actually, the first time we did it was like...
We snuck into an office at work.
Yeah.
Because I had some equipment there that I could use.
Because we didn't have equipment and we didn't know if it would work.
Yeah.
And because of the area we're in and the car and the community between Amazon and Microsoft, there's a lot of really good car people here. And so we've been able to fill the shows with content and people that just... most people wouldn't have access to, and we're lucky to that we call friends. And the car community here, you got to experience it, is unique.
This is much more than what could be seen as like car stories and like that. It's, as you say, a sort of a club, a place for people who are enthusiastic in the area to meet.
Yeah, and that's the thing here is there's a lot of places you go and you're going to get, you don't want somebody hitting you up on the side for investing in your business, or how would you like to make $10,000 if I make 20, Yeah. And that's exactly what they're trying to avoid. And so you get a lot of like-minded people here, and people aren't hitting each other up for money and things like that. It's like people who love to drive cars, hence Drivers Club.
Doug Perry, who owns Drivers Club, I mean, it's 55,000 square feet of just car haven in it, and he built it around an idea of a place where people can come in, they can store their cars, they have access to their cars. I mean, Drivers Club is so cool in the fact that if your Porsche is parked here and it needs to be serviced, you go in through the app, you say, Porsche, come get my car. They come get it. The technology in this building is incredible.
Well, I'm going to go and indulge in the car community's cars right now, because these windows are so good but so distracting. So I hate to cut you short, guys. Thank you very much. Of course, go and check out that episode. I keep plugging it, but it was a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. You can take my nuts with me.
Okay.
Dan was about to leave, but I grabbed him. Because these two cars are pretty special. So wait, talk me, because this is very America, so I'm really not familiar with this.
Studebaker wagon. Can't remember the year exactly, but it's a Packard V8. Coilover suspension, big brakes. Like the bottom of this car is clean enough to eat off of. The owner is very special to the community up here. There's a big story behind that, but all of his cars were like perfect show cars designed to be driven. So everything about them is drive hard, drive fast, and drive functional. So everything you get under these cars is 100% function. None of it was just show. It's like, if you look at the roll bar, and let's switch to the speed.
Yeah, because this is the one that I was wanting to check out, but you told me this was special.
Everybody catches their eyes with CSLs. It's actually a CS resto mod. M5 wheels, big brakes, coilovers, custom buckets, leather wrapped roll cage.
So it's not a CSL, it's a CS with lots of bits.
Modified CSL, sunroof car. But again, Bruce, who passed away with us, was a really special guy. Like I said, everything he did was function, drive, awesome. He never did anything half-assed. And it shows in every creation he has. We still see his cars all the time because he sold a lot of his cars to his friends in the area, and they bring them out. And this one is just...
Well, to be fair, he forced his friends to buy his cars when he knew he was passing away. But he's passed them down to people that he knew would drive them. I mean, and the gentleman that owns this car now, the reason it has M5 wheels is because he drove up to Bruce's house and he had an E39 M5, and Bruce goes, "I think that'd look really good on my CS," and he bought the wheels right off the car.
I love it. I love it.
So it's like with everything, the closer you get to these cars, the better they get. If you can't see it through the film on the dash, like the custom leather piping and the 5-point harnesses and the fire system in this car, everything is like you could drive this car to the show or to the track, and it's going to do both perfectly.
Super cool. Well, I'll let you go. I know you're already about to walk out the door, but thank you. I appreciate the tips. Catch up soon, bro.
Yeah, man.
What an unbelievable morning, and what an incredible place. A members club that I definitely want to sign up to. Huge thanks to both Nick and Dan for having me on the podcast, but also showing me around this place. But as you can see, my door is open. I'm ready to go. It's time to head into central Seattle. I hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up if you have, and make sure to subscribe for plenty more videos to come.